that Teebs banned
Oh,
the odd paladin, which I think
okay.
is understandable.
Yeah, we
And
thought
then
that
Future
was
Shock banned the
potential.
clone priest. But like, which is interesting because I think the druid, Future Shock's druid, is one of the decks you want against that clone priest. So I'm interested to see to crack open the brain there and see exactly what Future Shock was thinking, because I would think she would want to leave the priest up, quite honestly.
Yeah, potentially, or it may be also looking at the priest just sort of with the abilities of it able to sort of live long enough, and this is a little more of a defensive with the Witchwood Grizzly and the
Hmm.
Ziliac and the Mass Hysteria. That maybe just the fact that even though they could go wide on board or just live through a lot of damage, there is potential that the priest has an OTK that's a little too fast for the Malygos to catch up, or is a little too defensive for either the mid-range hunter or even the odd mage that they have to be able to just push through.
Yeah, you may be right about that. In fact, the odd mage is generally seen to be favored against the clone priest, since it does so much damage from hand. But
Yeah,
those defensive cards, the Witchwood Grizzly, the Ziliax, plus resurrection abilities, may be problematic for her mage deck. So maybe that's why she banned it out.
yeah, it may not be the end of the world, but either way, I mean, I'm not really bothered by the band's Ziliax priest. There is still a
Hmm.
lot of answers that they have to uh, their their quest rogue, their odd paladin, their mid range hunter, and it's very good. It's going to be very interesting to see how this mid range hunter sort of starts out. So I'm curious about that. But what do you think right now is the way that you want to queue up first in this lineup? How aggressive do you want to be, or how passive do you want to be?
Well, from Teebs' perspective, she's left with three fairly aggressive decks. She's got the odd paladin, the hunter, and the odd rogue. And Future Shock has a very similar lineup. She's got, but the mage, while aggressive, tends to crumple to board pressure. And the hunter will be more or less a mirror match in a lot of these. And the druid, of course, can be really problematic for both odd paladin and the odd rogue. So I think it's going to be up to Teebs' hunter to answer the druid if Future Shock cues into it. So the first answer is she's probably not going to open with the hunter. So I would imagine she's going to open with either and she might hold the paladin to answer the hunter. So I think rogue might be the opener to give herself enough counters for the rest of Future Shock's deck, just in case that druid comes up first.
That's fair. The quest rogue could come to play, and or just be a little bit. It has not been as consistent as it
Oh my
used to
goodness,
be.
that's a
But
quest rogue.
yeah, it is a quest rogue. I was
I've been
like,
saying odd
man,
rogue.
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe you
never
were
mind.
like, I didn't know if you were like going to slip of the tongue. But okay, so now that you know it's quest rogue, does your statement stand or does it change?
Well, the odd rogue is actually really good into the Malygos druid. So and so that may be what Teebs is going to rely on to beat that druid. And the
Still calling it odd rogue?
so I or yes, I am still calling it odd for the
It's
quest rogue.
okay.
Yeah. So
We haven't seen it in a
so I think
while.
so. Hunter still needs to kind of be the answer to uh, or yeah, the hunter kind of needs to. Well, the hunter is actually kind of like evenly matched up here. So she may be holding the quest rogue for the druid, hold the
Mhm.
paladin for the hunter, and open with her hunter. Actually, so yeah, that's probably a safer bet.
I could definitely see the Hunter v Hunter. I could also see the Paladin being queued up as well.
Yeah.
My Rogue is kind of my Rogue is my biggest concern here, just because yeah, you can vanish a lot of stuff, but what else after that? I mean, you're certainly going to get a lot of 4/4s on your board. I don't know. I feel like just the Quest Rogue is it can be tempoed out, but it's also not as aggressive as it once was originally. So
Right.
you're not able to complete the quest as fast as you once were able to. And in setup like last year was standing, you kind of need to get things done pretty quickly.
Yeah, and Teebs is running, the wax elemental version, and I do see the scale hide. So I mean, there's some really great late game sustain for Teebs, but
Yeah.
Rogue has traditionally the Quest Rogue has traditionally been beaten by very fast decks that can burn it down quickly, because there's not much healing to be had in the deck. So like the odd mage can definitely be problematic for the Quest Rogue. So I really don't think that Teebs wants to lose her only answer to the druid. So I have a feeling that the quest rogue is going to be in the back pocket until she sees a druid.
Pretty much. I think that's right. So we probably are going to see most likely the Hunter Cuda first, followed by the Paladin, followed by the Rogue. That's fair. And
Yeah.
for Future Shock, we're probably going to see, like you said, maybe the Hunter Mirror starting out, then followed by
Yeah.
the Mage, followed by the Druid. And this just seems like very smart lines of thinking. I'm really excited to see how Teebs plays with this, especially with just the less aggressive options or the more powerful options, just with the hyena. Because Teebs, very smart player, won the Canada qualifier for WESG. Future Shock, no laughing matter either. So, I mean, obviously, there's things that we as casters, even with caster vision, don't even know the master plans that these players can bring up.
Yeah, then from Future Shock's perspective, she probably has a similar game plan. That the mage probably wants to be there for the quest rogue. The druid wants to be there to answer.
I feel you so much.
So the hunter is probably going to be an opener for both, but looks like they're in game, Bemmie. So let's check it out.
Yeah, let's go ahead and load this in. Let's see if the Hunter Mirror is what we're going to be starting out. If we're in for the long run, I'm assuming it's going to be the Hunters. It is going to be the Hunter Mirrors indeed, both golden portrait and all, looking fancy over here. And it's going to be seeing how do you want to queue into this?
I really wanted to see this matchup because I wanted to see how Teebs' build specifically works in the mirror. That plated beetle has my curiosity peaked. So I want to see if that's part of her game plan, if she mulligans for it, if she tracks for it to try to pull it early game, and see how that plays out against a more typical build that Future Shock has.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm thinking Diremole looking pretty good here. May want to just trade out that Tundra Rhino. See, I have Future Shock at the bottom, by the way. Just looking at these right now, just a Scavenging Hyena. There it is. I mean, honestly, right off the bat, this is looking very strong. And do you maybe want to just try to drop the Spring Paw as well, potentially, just to get that Candle Shot down? Or no, actually, you would just want to drop that mole right away.
Yeah,
just the 1/3. 1/3s are so powerful.
Yeah, it's so resilient to anything that the hunter can do. So the Candle Shot ends up becoming useful, but not an answer to the board. And Teebs did not draw into her Spring Paws, which she does not run Diremoles in this deck. So she cannot test the early board with the Diremole like as we see Future Shock doing. So Teebs is going to have to start playing from behind right away. I mean, the Candle Shot is definitely a consideration here, probably the right play, but then what? What do you do from there?
Yeah, it is a huge question. I mean, honestly, you would like to get maybe the Timberwolf out there so you can just synergize with the Razor Maw, but I mean, this is already right off the bat. Diremole, a 1/3 is probably one of the most powerful cards you can have in the entire game of Hearthstone. It just lives for so long. There's not a lot of responses to it, and you can just buff that bad boy up a notch a couple of times. And now we're seeing what the debate is. Do we want to see the Scavenging Hyena come out? Or, they might be accounting for potentially a coin animal companion here that could just be a huffer that knocks down that hyena right away, and that's most of the tempo gone.
Yeah, and it's a big question, right? Because there's no other 2-play available for Future Shock here. So she has to consider, does she want to take a risk by putting down the hyena and it possibly getting traded away by the likes of a Spring Paw in combination with the weapon hit? But as we see, Teebs doesn't have it, so Teebs now cannot answer this hyena, and that kind of puts Future Shock in a really good position next turn because she does have the Spring Paw and Unleash the Hounds to start fueling up that Scavenging Hyena, and it can attack right away next turn.
I absolutely agree, but I do like this, and I do like the Death Rattle coming in onto the Timberwolf. Just the goal of trying to go wide on board is really nice, and then the ship damage onto the Wolf is great. There is, unfortunately, the Unleash the Hounds that is there, and that would pretty much clear the entire board for the most part, and also buff up that Hyena that kind of starts getting out of control. They could also just drop the Spring Paw right now as well, and that would be just as fine. Sometimes I like to hold onto it for the Dire Frenzy, but I think that you want to try to be more aggressive than you can than your counter hunter.
Right, and I think there was a decision point there between either the Spring Paw or the Unleash the Hounds, because the Unleash the Hounds uses it's the same amount of plays, right? The Future Shock is playing one card with the Spring Paw plus its token versus one card with the Unleash, and with the Unleash she would have gotten one more wolf, and I think she's now kind of realizing that maybe she would have preferred to do the unleash there, because yeah, this now kind of creates a somewhat awkward board for her to have to deal with. Of course, it's an 8-4, so Teebs is on the kind of on the question here. She has to find her way to answer this.
Oh, well, there it is. Honestly, I
smokes.
think that's better than a Huffer, to be honest.
Absolutely, because this leaves a beast on the board. This is exactly what Teebs wanted off of that.
Wow. But, I mean, Master's Call is in Future Shock's hand, so they are able to reload their hand, but this is now a turn that's going to slip by their grasp as they are only able to reload and then drop the Candle Shot.
Yeah, and the Candle Shot is useful in the matchup. There's never a reason to not equip it. So Future Shock gonna put it on. But yeah, like going into Teebs' turn 4 with a beast on board and Future Shock no way to answer the board here. Teebs is gotta basically kind of taking the lead as far as the game state's concerned. Let's see if she can capitalize on it though.
Yeah, you troll. Well, here's the question. How do you capitalize it? Do you Dire Frenzy it, or do you just summon another animal companion?
I mean, Dire Frenzy is an option. You know, it turns Leok from this stage into a 5/6, and that's really 6 health is really difficult for Hunter to deal with because you know it's outside of the kill command. So you have to go kill command plus weapon, which I mean Future Shock can do, but that would be her entire turn. Plus you get 3 mana 5/6 in your deck, which is it's nothing to sneeze at. But I wouldn't hate. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate the animal companion either, though. Just to put more. I mean, it puts almost as much pressure on the board. Oh, there you go.
Oh, well, yeah.
And
I mean,
Teebs gets rewarded.
Absolutely, because like at this point, let's see what they draw into. A Master's Call is not going to really help right now, just because now they have a Stranglethorn Tiger, which is nice and all, but there's not a lot of responses per se. They could potentially go Timberwolf into Unleash the Hounds. Yeah. And that could at least board clear some of the stuff along with the Candle Shot. But that does make it a little bit of an awkward mana turn.
Yeah, and I think it's, as far as I can tell, that's the only way that Future Shock can actually answer this board is exactly the way you said it, Timberwolf plus Unleash. So if she wants to reset the board, this is what she's going to have to do. And you never want to leave Huffer on the board because, well, as we talked
Dire
about
Frenzy.
Dire Frenzy. Like, you do not want 3 mana. What would it be? 7/5s charging in your deck? No.
That's scary. Don't. I don't need any more nightmares, Cinder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you need a blanket?
Please. But okay. At the moment, it seems like they need a 3/3 wolf right now. Teebs is just going to go ahead and drop that flanking strike. And I mean, a 3 mana, a flanking strike in reserve for flanking strike. That is a good top deck right there.
Whew. Yeah, I mean that's kind of been the story of the day. You know, you and I have been watching some other matches today, and dueling flanking strikes have kind of been the story. But Teebs probably super happy to see the tracking here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's the direction of their win condition now? Is it along with the Savannah Highmane going wide on board? Is the kill command? They're going for the Savannah Highmane. I guess that's just to like see if they can get something with Dire Frenzy. They could Dire Frenzy one of the 2/2 hyenas, and then like I don't know, that's like 2 mana right there. So then you have a 2 mana 5/5, which is not bad at all.
Well, you know the Savannah Highmane is just so difficult for Hunter to clear. Like the Hunter's Mark has kind of gone out of style in some of these decks. I don't think either of these players is running it today. And then there's nothing like Deadly Shot to handle big minions. So when you get a 6/5 by itself is really hard to answer. But then you've got the 2/2s that come out after the fact. So it's just so much pressure for Hunter to deal with. I definitely agree with Teebs taking it, even though she's kind of on the back foot here. Having a big play coming up, she absolutely needs it because Unleash and Dire Frenzy aren't going to do it.
Yeah, but the Rexar will. I think with just the way that their Teebs decks is loaded out, that this is definitely something that they want to take advantage of right now and just start getting that online, producing those zombies, especially with how small the hand is for Future Shock.
Yeah, I mean, Rexar is an instant answer to the hyena. Gain some armor. It does leave the Tundra on board, but you don't want to leave a Tundra, Rhino, and a Hyena on the board together. You absolutely just cannot do that. And I don't think that Unleash the Hounds is a strong enough play to carry Teebs through the rest of this game.
Yeah, that's very true. There is potentially the argument unleash the hounds into dire frenzy, just so that they can clear the tundra rhino, but then that would basically get rid of that would boost up the hyena quite a bit, but I mean you wouldn't I don't know. How do you feel about this play?
Well, it does put in the charging minions into the 1 mana 4/4 with charge is quite good.
It's beautiful.
But this is gonna power up the hyena, and it's gonna go unanswered on the board, and that is such a dangerous place because now look at Future Shock's holding a kill command, hero power, weapon hit. That's 12 damage just with what's on the board. And she's got mana to Master's Call for maybe a Spring Paw, and pick up even more damage off of the hyena. This is, I don't know, this is a super risky play from Teebs.
It is, and it does not leave him alive. But I think honestly, in the long run, the way that Teebs has built out the hunter, that they're thinking long run, and the Razor Maw, such a good top deck. So I mean, if we get Wind
in the
Fury,
game right here,
it could.
Let's see. So the +3 attack would be 7, 8, and 5.
Would you go for
13.
+3 or Wind Fury?
Yeah, Future Shock has to go for the Wind Fury. I just kind of adding up what the possibilities are. So Wind Fury would be 8 on the 8 from the hyena, 9 from the weapon, and then 5, 4. So it would set Teebs to 1, which is all but lethal because I don't see any way that Teebs produces 21 damage next turn.
No, but I do like that they also hold on to the kill command. The +1/+1 is at least nice, or the Divine Shield.
Divine Shield. Well, either or. Well, this is interesting. No, the +1 is correct. Yeah, because the way the board is, the 5/4, the 4/3 with Divine Shield dies to a weapon hit plus a trade, and then the 5/4 dies to a trade. So it's kind of the same result. So I think that's okay, but at least now Teebs is going to have to pull the trigger on this Rexar.
Ooh, I think there was maybe a little bit of a misplay because the Razor Maw's going to die first, and then they get the buff. So, oh no, okay.
The wolf, the dog would have died either way.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. All right, never mind.
I mean, in a lot of situations, that would have been correct. Like you're right.
I've done like even lock to file, and then like the hyena gets buffed, and I'm just like, whoops.
And then you go on the next level where you actually intentionally buff up the hyena's health so that you can trade more stuff in. There's also that, but that's not the case here. But yeah, like this is still a really precarious position for Teebs. 13 health, Savannah Highmane does not directly affect the board. Future Shock can now kind of develop at her will, and this Stranglethorn Tiger is not going to get answered.
Yeah, they could pretty much develop lethal because after that, they just sort of drop the Timberwolf, kill command, hero power, candle shot, pretty much good to go. What zombies do they need? They need something to
taunt, lifesteal, rush. Any combination of those things is absolutely necessary right here.
Okay, well,
so none of those things out of the first. Although she could adapt for it. Yeah, the hatchling could adapt.
And that would at least get a taunt.
Yeah, you can get the taunt out of that. So there's that, but neither of these other two.
Let's see. Is there a world where like if you get Plated Beetle Rush, I could help? Oh no, this is not it.
Wow, no defensive capabilities out of either of those discovers.
Yeah, this is pretty unfortunate. And because the Tiger is now in stealth, there's no way to trade the Plated Beetle enough to get the armor. This is pretty much, I think this is game over.
5, 6, 7, 12, 14. Yeah, I don't see a way for Teebs to squeeze out of this one. The Dire Frenzy is going to enable the trade, but that's still 13 from hand for a Future Shot, or 14 really.
That is going to seal the deal for sure.
All right, there. Look at this Future Shock with a little bit of BM there, actually.
Was it really?
The second kill command,
why not?
Forward, so,
fair enough.
I don't know. There's sometimes where I just go like, oh, that is lethal. I'll just go for the most like neon sign looking kill because I just go like, I know for sure that's going to kill. I don't have to add anything. But either way, I mean, right off the bat, we were kind of a little bit worried with no hyena.
that, you know, Teebs was not going to be able to catch up with the Hunter of Future Shock. But the thing is that, I mean, Teebs had a really good idea going, and I think if they maybe got that Rexar online just maybe one turn earlier to develop those zombies, it could have been different.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but either way,
Teebs,
the past is the past.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about Teebs using this odd paladin as a counter to the Hunter, and this is exactly the position that she wanted to be in game 2 if she lost that game. So Teebs is in a pretty good position to even up the series here. Although that Unleash is going to help for Future Shock.
Yeah, big time. I'd probably get rid of Savannah High Main and maybe even the Kill Command just so that, they get rid of almost everything except for the Unleash the Hounds just to see if they can get the Hyena. But
just any one drop really to
really that would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it looks like they're keeping the hand. Blessing of Might with the call. I
like Teebs keeping the Cauldron. That's really something, because I think that's a good recognition that you're going to lose a lot of dude tokens over the course of this game, especially to like Spring Paws and Unleash the Hounds.
Start building it up.
Right, just get a big old hand of Shaman spells.
Hell yeah. I would love a Thunderstorm in my Paladin deck.
Right, or like a Bloodlust or something.
Yeah, and the Overload's not that big of a deal because a lot of the stuff is low mana cost.
Yeah, true that. And I think that's why the Cauldron has kind of like become a popular tech for the odd Paladin, because the Shaman spells potentially do add quite a bit. And you're going to lose dudes. I mean, it's just a fact of playing this deck.
Yep. That Hyena looks so good right now. Flanking Strike could come to play just to account for maybe the Cauldron if they could follow it up with something, but with no Candle Shot in hand, the Hyena just seems so good.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Hyena is probably the call, just because you're going to be using small 1/1s to trade away, these recruits. So pretty good chance of being able to pull off a pretty big Hyena.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is looking to shape up to be a very huge turn. I'm sure they would love it to be like turn 4 at least, so they can coin and Unleash the Hounds and Scavenging Hyena, and that would be pretty much the end of it. But I don't know. This is a turn where they kind of just got to eat damage. And I mean, right now the unidentified Maul is the Champion's Maul, so it doesn't give any boost to damage. So they're in a kind of good position right now if they kind of just want to hero power past turn here.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to leave up too much stuff,
right?
But especially in this position where like Teebs has only actually played one card. She's tapped the hero power twice. So like Future Shock, if she dumps a card into this, or 2 cards into this board, it's a lot. So there's the hero power pass, just like you said.
Yeah, well, I was only thinking about this along the way because look how wide the board is. There's not much they can do. They are going to drop the Witch's Cauldron, so the moment they do that, it's going to be just a trial and tribulation kind of thing for Future Shock just to get through all those Shaman spells. But
right,
I mean, if they trade in right now with the amount of cards in hand, there's a very low chance for a Hex or something like that to come into play. And I think that's the only thing you would really want to worry about because you want that Hyena to be healthy.
Yeah, this is, or even an Earth Shock to just, bring it.
Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, it's a kind of a minor punish for Future Shock not addressing the board last turn. This Witch's Cauldron is just going to produce so many resources for Teebs because, I mean, Future Shock has to start answering this board. She can't just leave it up as is, and she can't like sit there and wait for Rexar either. She'll just die. So there's Unleash the Hounds has to be played at some point here.
It does. It's
gonna like make more stuff come out of the Cauldron. It's a bad position to be in.
It is a bad position to be in, but it's not the worst in the world. Honestly, it was just a very awkward hand. I don't know what else you would want to do because then also you just summon something and it just dies. I think, honestly, they do kind of just have to take this gamble of, like, clearing the board, playing the Hyena, and just trying to give the least amount of Shaman spells you can to your opponent.
Yeah, you don't want to just continue fueling that Cauldron the whole time, but it's a catch-22. She has to clear the board. She has to address it in some fashion, but she can't leave that Cauldron to just keep making stuff, but... Yeah, this is a difficult position.
Do some of it go to Cauldron? Do they like direct Cauldron first and then trade into stuff? Oh,
Not sure how many attacks she managed to squeeze in there. We're gonna see. Let's see. We got Earth Shock, Volcano, Unstable Evolution,
oh, that's like the best one you can get.
another Volcano.
I feel like
And
honestly, I feel so stupid because I feel like if you just played Unleash the Hounds and then take care of the Witch's Cauldron first, then basically you just have a bunch of ones and 1/2s.
But that's still a very threatening position rolling into turn 5 because you have to respect like the Fungal Mancer plays or are imminent. The Frostwolf Warlord can come down for like a 9/10/10. You have to. There's so many things that go into that.
What's
decision.
more threatening? A bunch of boosted like 3 to 1 attack minions, or a lot of Shaman board clear spells, especially when you're Hunter.
Honestly,
really?
a bunch of yeah, because that's repetitive damage. That's how you in the long run you lose the game.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I mean you're not wrong in that these spells are very, very threatening because now they represent an unknown, right? Future Shock has no way of knowing what spells have been generated. So she can't look at a deck list and say, okay, well, it's there's a couple of volcanoes that I have to play around. No, she has no knowledge. So this is it.
Yeah,
it's
we have
still
caster
a very difficult thing. Yeah, exactly.
There is just gonna drop that Tiger. I mean, I don't think there's any wrong line of play. Whether you prioritize the minions or you prioritize the Cauldron, both are just kind of going to leave you at a disadvantage. I guess in the long run,
exactly.
Yeah, it's good. Like there's the Fungal Mancer, like you said earlier, and I mean they just have so many resources right now. That is a 6/6 Cauldron. That is literally somebody picking up a pot and beating it over the head with you. What? Are you kidding me?
Huffer. Or not Huffer, Hogger, excuse me.
The other Huffer.
In my brain it says it's always Huffer. Well, in this case it's always
Oh
Hogger.
my god. All right,
No.
Okay.
I mean, this was the reason why Teebs queued up this deck, but this has just been a parade of power for this odd paladin. This is really something to see.
Absolutely. Golly, I'm just trying to think what would happen if they didn't rope. Like what would the outcome be? Would there be less minions to deal with? Would they take care of the Cauldron and not worry about the spells? Because oh man, it's just not a good time. I don't think there's anything Future Shock could have done differently. This is just kind of the way that Teebs just cleverly rolled into this.
I think the one thing that probably Future Shock's going to want to review after the fact was not trading into that board on turn 3, on the bottom of 3. She'll probably go back and consider whether or not there was a better line having if she unleashed the hounds and traded into some of that mess. And I mean, I can't say if it is or not, but I think I would have done it because you just have to respect what can come out of the paladin deck.
Yeah, absolutely. With the fact that it is open deck list, you can account for things. I mean, the Vine Cleaver is just going to close this out right now. And Teebs, the Hogger, just so good.
I love seeing Hogger. Like anytime he pops out of anything, I've had
I haven't seen
2 golden Hoggers in my life, and I've dusted them both, and I regret it. I regret it both times.
You're a bad boy.
I know,
man. But I mean, honestly, in the long run, that was very impressively done, and Teebs showing why this odd paladin ain't afraid of no hunter, no animals. This is no petting zoo now.
Uther don't take no mess.
Uther does not clean up after your pets.
No. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Future Shock queue into the Druid here, because Spreading Plague is extremely powerful against Odd Paladin. So probably going to see the series continue to just go back and forth as they counter each other's decks until we get to a game 5.
Is there anything that it's really good to clear a board in this odd mage? It doesn't seem like much. I mean, there's the Cinderstorm, but there's no way to boost it.
Right. Well, you have Black Cats primarily for your spell damage, so that does help. And anytime and Arcane Missiles too. like if you get a couple of spell power bumps, Arcane Missiles is such an efficient spell. So we may see the mage if the druid fails. Well, I mean, if the druid fails, she has to go to the mage. There's no other choice. But the mage at least probably has a chance. But I think Future Shock would have to be pretty lucky. The draws would have to really fall for her in her favor for her to win with that mage against the paladin.
So, do we just get everything except for the Leroy here for Teebs, or do we keep the Leroy as well? I like the Divine Favor.
Yeah, Divine Favor is going to be really good in this matchup, but I think you pitch the other two. You want to get going.
Creeper? Oh, I mean, there's not a lot of things that they can do aggressively as the Creeper, maybe, just to, like, build that down to 0 mana. That's probably just going to be at, like, 3 or 4 mana at the end of the day.
Oh, it'll get down to 0. I mean, you look at this, though. Lost in the Jungle is exactly what probably Teebs wanted to see here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to start going as wide as you can. Because, wait, let's see. I'm looking at the deck list right now. Is there a swipe? There is only 2 swipes. But I mean, you can only 2 swipes.
4?
Yeah, you're right. You know what? I don't even know why I said it like that. Because I was like looking at it, it's like, okay, yeah, they do run a full set of swipes. Why did I say only 2? By the way, going wide on board is important.
I've been calling
Odd Rogue.
Yeah, since we started.
Oh, we're so silly today. All right, so here we go. Yeah, we're a bit tired from stuff, but we're happy to cast this all the same. And I mean, either way, right now, in all seriousness, looking pretty good for Teebs at the moment. Just with a Blessing of Might as well, but the kill raid leader absolutely viable as well. I mean, it's really a race to see how much damage you can get down before stuff's getting absolutely crazy because they have coin, they have invest.
That's like 100% correct. Like the Odd Paladin's job here is to push in as much damage as they can, to just cramming it in until before that plague hits. Because once the plague hits, then it's just all bets are off for the Odd Paladin. Then their problems begin. So this is going to be just making as much as you can, going as wide as you can, pushing as much damage as you can, and try to finish this before the Druid gets into its late game.
Turn 4 Splaggy Plague?
It's possible. I don't know.
That would also get the Arcane Tyrant.
True.
But I do also like taking care of the raid leaders right away. And just trying to let their opponent go wide because it's just chip damage at the moment and you're getting a lot of armor. So, I mean, in the long run, you're just kind of waiting for your opponents to just go like, all right, I'll let you go wide. But they also got to be careful of the buffs as well because I'm sure Teebs is smart enough to account for that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Teebs is easily one of the best players in the game. Oh, no, without a doubt. She's one of the hardest working players in Hearthstone. Like, there's just no question.
Hands down. Ooh.
Hands down. But
okay,
yeah, like this is, and I like how much Teebs is dumping the hand here.
For the Divine Favor.
Getting that Divine Favor. Oh yeah.
I mean, there's certainly benefits to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Future Shock holding on the Spreading Plague last turn. She was waiting until Teebs pretty much burned out the whole hand, right? So now Future Shock is gonna get the Plague out, get the Arcane Tyrant out, dump as much as she can out of her hand to limit how much the Divine Favor picks up. Because if you leave one card in your hand for Paladins, probably Divine Favor.
Yeah, absolutely. My only concern is that there was like no Fungal Mancer or anything really to buff up, or they didn't even have the Frost Wolf, which they're about to draw into right now. But I mean, these plated beetles, or scarab beetles, excuse me, are just gonna pretty much get the chip damage that they need to do and make this Frost Wolf very not valuable. Or actually, no, it's just for their allies. Never mind. What am I talking about? Friendly minions.
Yes, those. I mean, those are technically plated beetles. That are just not the card plated beetle.
Yeah, no, but yeah, they're kind of nullifying the value of this Frostwolf Warlord at the moment.
Right, exactly. This is why Spreading Plague.
There we go. That's what I was trying to say.
Against the odd Paladin. Because those little 1 attack, 5 health, and taunt just lets Druid clean up the board while also playing cards. And Innervate, Malfurion gonna add to the worries here for Teebs.
I do love me a turn 6 Malfurion. Get it while you can, because it's going away in April.
and just getting more
Yeah.
scarabs is just going to be so good. And I think this is pretty much closing it out. The only thing I can see is maybe Stonehill going wide on board and pray you get that Tarum.
Oh, right. Yeah. Terran would be. I mean, Terran would just
Pretty
equalize the board as it's
much.
going here. Oh, man. Nourish off the top. That is so good here.
Yeah. How do you like them apples, Cinder?
I like 2 free mana, whether they are in apple form or in leaves. I mean, I'll eat a salad. That's fine.
Yeah. Gotta stay healthy sometimes. And,
Yep, and if
we're
it gives
going
you 2
away.
mana, all the better.
Exactly. Just chip that 3 damage. I mean, honestly, this is going to be such an uphill battle for them.
Mhm.
I really do hope that like Teebs doesn't get shut out as soon as they can. I mean, really, I do see the Tarum going wide on board. It's just like the line of sight.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the answer is, it's not Fungalmancer and it's not Frostwolf Warlord. So Teebs is going to have to go for the Stonehill and see what she can get. I mean, Mastodon's actually pretty good here. Because then, Future Shock would have to be forced to trade into everything next turn, and then the Fungalmancer can just come down now. Because at this point, Teebs does not want to use the hero power anymore. Teebs needs to start going tall rather than wide. So
Yeah,
Fungalmancer, real good. Oh, Naturalize.
Oh dear.
Really?
That's a pretty disgusting top deck.
That is a top deck, Bemmie. I mean,
It is.
Now, Future
It
Shock's
did come off the top of the deck.
Future Shock's going to want to do the Ultimate Infestation here, though. But I think there is an argument for the Naturalize, just because these Plague tokens are going to hold up, right? Like, Teebs is not punching through anytime soon. And
I wouldn't mind it. Did they play their other ultimate? I think this is still the same UI that we saw in turn 4. So
yeah, no, this is the one they've been holding it for a while.
Yeah, so I think this is pretty fine. Yeah, they got the other spreading plague.
Yeah, because this lets them pick up the other spreading plague. It lets them pick up more removals, and of course also start putting a wind condition together. Because now we see Malygos in the hand.
Well, I mean, Teebs drawing the Baku. I mean,
really bad.
It's a 7/8. That's a pretty big minion.
Ooh, swipe a little late to the party, but at this point, Future Shock does not need to trade into Ray Romano here. Like, there's no obligation to do so.
I mean,
so she could just sit on
these
4.
I'm trying to see if maybe they could set up for. They're gonna go for double naturalize, reload the board, and just set up, I guess, the Malygos for the swipe.
Well, yeah, no, I'm gonna drop the Florist to get that Malygos or the Floop down.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Like, drop the pedal
right.
to set up for the Malygos. My bad.
No, you're good. So
thank you for completing my sentences.
So if it hits Malygos, that's going to be really good here. Oh, bam! There it goes. So that ends up setting up a 14 damage swipe next turn, plus board damage is going to be lethal for Future Shock.
It's true.
Wow. But Tarum is bad here because
I know
Teebs has no minions.
If only they had their other Lost of the Jungle or something.
Right. I mean, Righteous Protect. Oh, she took the Tarum anyway. That's interesting. So she's going to try to go wide here.
Try to go as wide as you can.
Yeah. Then use the Tarum next turn, but there may not be a next turn. I mean, we know that Future Shock has 14 in hand, but is there enough damage stuff on board to punch through? I think there is. So you go 2 here to clear that. Oh yeah. Then there's also the fact that swipe also hits everything else. It has the splash damage.
That is true. I mean, they could go Malygos, Malygos swipe.
No, this is just Mally swipe, and that's game, because the swipe actually does the clearing of the taunts.
Yep.
Although 1 token has to get traded away for. Oh no, this will do it because. Well, there's a number of ways to do this. I mean, any of those roads lead to lethal. But
yeah, pretty much.
Teebs knows what's up.
And they also had a Scarab Beetle that was at 1, so it's whatever. Yeah, they were pretty much good to go either way. So match point going over the Future Shock.
Yep.
All right.
So this means that the
Bless her
Teebs'
heart.
hunter is out. Teebs' paladin is out. So now it becomes the quest rogue, and quest rogue's pretty good into this druid.
Absolutely. I mean, this was kind of the matchup that they were looking for. I mean, this is definitely just like something where we could see. Oh Lord, I don't know. It's just like something where we're probably going to see game 5 here. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
almost certainly. But that's Sonya coming into the hands early on for Teebs. Very welcome.
I like the twig.
Yeah, Twig's real good for Future Shock as well. You know, it's the backup plan. If you don't get the Florist, you at least get the Twig to get that 20 mana turn off with Malagos and deliver lethal. But there may be the case that Teebs may not even, you know, offer many opportunities for that Twig to get activated, because Teebs is going to be starting bouncing stuff and taking off that quest real soon here.
Yeah, especially with having both shadow missteps. Just a little like pun there to
nod to
credit, and not. They said no to us, and they say anyway.
That.
So, looking at this here, and also just the fact that you can draw. Oh, keeping Novice Engineer, fair enough. Just doesn't want to get it here powered out of here.
Right. Yeah, you don't have a second one to back yourself up, so you need to hold it for future bounce effects. But Teebs also has the Sonya plus
Lab Recruiter
hands. The Lab Recruiter is definitely going to go into the deck here. But as a backup plan to the quest's completion plan, Sonya plus any charging minion can like complete the quest in one turn. That's why Teebs kept it in the opening hands. It's so important as a backup plan, a plan B for this deck.
Oh, big ol' yes. That is like Sonya is kind of like one of the definitive factors of the quest rogue that has lived throughout multiple variations of this, and now we're just going to see this quest completed right away. I think they're going to be. Let's see here. No, there's not one more bounce.
Yeah, so Teebs does have to hold for one more bounce or recruiter.
Unless, yeah, they have. Well, they could potentially. There is a high chance because there's still the 2 other Novice Engineers that they could coin Mimic Pod just to see if they get a second one, and that would pretty much complete it. At the very least, they could also get Young Brewers. Oh, that's not going to be the case, but at the very least, they do have a way. Yeah. I mean, combo, get some more cards. I would be pretty happy.
Oh, without a doubt. And Future Shock just kind of, this is one of the things that I've noticed about the post nerf Druid, is that you don't have the access to the ramp that you used to have, right? You used to be able to go Wild Growth into Branching Paths into Nourish, and then Malfurion, and then you're on turn 10 and you're Plaguing, or Ultimate Infestationing rather. And now you can't really do that. The Malagos deck is significantly slower by a couple of turns than it used to be. And when you're facing off against another combo deck that hasn't lost its ability to do its combos, then it puts it at a disadvantage, which is this is why the quest rogue is so good in this position.
Okay, so question. With the hero power, would you have preferred the Innervate just to be able to get that Nourish sort of going and start drawing more into your deck? Because I feel like it's a real race of trying to complete that Malagos OTK.
Yeah, but there's a lot that has to. There's 2 more ticks that have to come off of the twig. Then you have to. I mean, now Future does have 3 out of 4 pieces of the combo, but she wants to have that other swipe. Otherwise, it's not enough damage. So either the swipe or the floop. But either way, there's a couple of turns before that can happen. At all. So the fact that she wants to wait a turn to put down the Nourish, I think, is okay.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I absolutely right that you would want to try to prioritize, because the OTK can't come down because of Twig. I couldn't agree with you more. But I am also just worried that just the moment that the quest comes down, we're just like GG, because it is going to be so hard to come back from. Because I don't know, how do you come back from this? I mean, the Malfurion does come into play, and that could be very useful.
the spreading plagues could help out, but there hasn't been any spreading plagues as well.
Like the thing that Future Shock's really going to be wanting to find is the Dream Petal Florist, because if she can discount Malygos, then she can set up a Mally Swipe Clear on a bunch of 4/4s, and that could give her time to set up a 2-turn lethal with some follow up damage after that clear. But that also is dependent on the vicious scale hides not being in Teebs' hand. So there's a lot of things that have to go right for Future Shock here.
Yeah, well, bad news bears, there is a vicious scale hide in hand.
Yeah.
So I mean, this lifesteal is going to come down. They also have the Zilliax as well, which is absolutely insane. So I like, honestly, that's kind of one of the reasons why I was also thinking about just playing the Nourish as soon as you could to maybe see if you can draw into the Ultimate Infestation, because you really do need to buy a lot of time as Druid against just a rain of 4/4s coming at you, an armada, if you will.
Oh, right. And like Spreading Plague would, at least close the door on the game, for a while, but not forever. Although the Malfurion will actually stall another turn himself. A little bit more armor, 2 plague tokens for Teebs to get through, so it'll stall some damage and give Future Shock a little bit more time. And as they say, time is draw, right? Oh, look at this. Yeah. The Fan of Knives actually is going to be paired perfectly with the 2 4/4s to clear these 2 tokens.
Well, would you look at that? 4 + 1 = 5.
Yep.
I did it.
So I'm told that rebobson is not able to do that math. I may have heard that from a little bit.
No. You don't want to. Don't call out. Don't call out the production, man.
Rebobson's producing, folks. If you're wondering why we're throwing,
we love you, Rebobson.
Because he
thank you for your hard work today. Can we get some hearts in chat for Rebobson?
Yeah, absolutely. Give some hard hands for for Rebobson.
Hard hand, pride hands, whatever hands you'd so desire. But anyways,
yeah.
Future Shock catching these 4/4 hands.
Oh yeah, it's so much smoke coming out of Teebs' side of the board, and no Spreading Plague for Future Shock still, and without any way to answer the 4/4s. And I like the fact that Teebs is taking it slow, because she's presenting steady pressure while actually holding a whole bunch of bursts in her hand. She picked up a Stone Tuskboar, and she's been holding both of these deck hands. Catching both of those deck hands, but as soon as she's ready to unleash the lethal. So this is Teebs is going to be able to just kind of close this game out at her will.
Pretty much. There's also that worrisome of like, okay, well, I summoned some minions. They have a boar. They have Sonya. Things are just going to die. It's going to go very quickly. I just like no Ultimate Infestation, no way to go wide on board to buy more turns unless they top deck it. But
the Vanish is really good here too.
Yeah. Oh my God, the Vanish is going to be huge.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it.
So if the thing is though, like Teebs does kind of need to close this out like ASAP, because Future Shock just has put herself on her last twig, right? And now Future Shock has hold a double swipe. So 20 mana plus all the burn spells for Malygos, like Teebs has to put the damage in now, and she may not realize that. I mean, Future Shock has only gotten through 16 cards.
Yeah.
The odds of having the full Malygos combo in hand after drawing only half your deck is not very good. So Teebs may not be accounting for a full Malygos combo here. But yeah, she's gonna dump it all out now.
Yeah, I don't think Flex Tape is gonna fix that.
No, let's see. So this ends up being
4, 8, 12, 16.
If my math is
4, 8,
good.
12, 16, 17.
Yeah, plus the dagger hits. So
the chargeable weapons, yep.
Yeah, Future Shock did in fact buy herself just enough time to get that combo together. Look at this. So Malygos, Break Twig, Burn Face, GG. My
mind cannot comprehend that. That is amazing.
It's okay. We were so focused on how the quest rogue is going to just roll this match that we were not
Sometimes
paying
you
enough
can tunnel vision
so
much as a caster, and you see everything. Sometimes knowing too much, sometimes knowledge can be dangerous.
Yeah. Well, you spend so much energy yabbering about the game that sometimes you just miss the obvious stuff. But
yeah.
So Future Shock is now our winner.
Future Shock is our winner, but Teebs is not out of it yet. They are going to go to the lower bracket to face off against another amazing player, Carcute. Just truly an amazing player. And honestly, that was quite the matchup. What a very just sleight of hand. I'm just gonna be chill about this and just come in with the lethal real quick kind of Future Shock kill. That was amazing.
Yeah. Well, the Malygos Druid, it almost is that, right? It's a little bit of leisure domain. You got to try to pretend like you don't have enough damage to end the game, like you're just drawing out of desperation, and then you just surprise them with double swipe, double moonfire. That's the way you do it sometimes.
Yep, it do be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But any last minute thoughts about this matchup that we just saw that was truly done by two amazing, powerful, smart thinking women of Hearthstone?
A very big brain Hearthstone going on. So Future Shock goes up to meet Patra in the winners final, and then they're going to be waiting in the grand final for the winner of the under bracket.
Yeah.
So the under bracket is still pretty stacked. I mean, you've got Carcute, Orchestrate, who's been very impressive.
Don't even get me started. So I broadcasted that crazy 3-0. I don't remember who it was against, but they had a mid-range hunter, and they were just top decking like that. Oh my god.
And then Slissa, who has, had the opportunity at WSOE to kind of show the world that she's pretty doggone good. And she is a regular resident of high legend ranks. So a stacked tournament still to go. So I'm super excited to see how this all plays out tomorrow.
All wholesome, good vibes. But we are going to let our producer finally get some sleep and food into their system. So we are going to let you go. Thank you, rebobson. Thank you to also the Badass Women Hearthstone community for being truly a magical and just healthy environment for all of us to break into esports and become one community together. It's truly an honor to be able to cast this. I've been Bemmie. This has been Cinder. You can also check out the social media links for the amazing women that you just saw play at the end card. And we are out. We will see you in the next match. See you soon.